Hello, and welcome back to another video. So if you're watching this on the day of release, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm talking about Wolfenstein. So, yeah, I picked up a couple of the games recently. I've now got nearly everything. I'm missing Spear of Destiny, which I don't care. I don't care. Like, trying to find an original copy of that is 200 quid. I don't like Wolfenstein enough for that. However, what I do like Wolfenstein enough for is we're going to do this chronologically from the beginning. 1982, the beginning. Yep, that's right. I picked up Castle Wolfenstein by Muse Software for the Atari 400. This is an actual floppy disk. I'm not going to do that again. Definitely not going to do that again. This disc is certified 100% error-free. I wish games were that nowadays. Anyway, so the original Wolfenstein developed by Muse Software under a guy called Silas Warner back in 1982. He's unfortunately passed away. But what this game basically came out and did before pretty much any other game I can think of is A, let you kill a specific historical German political movement. I'm not allowed to say what they are on YouTube. Mr. Schmittler's lot, and yeah, it was sort of controversial for that. It also introduced stealth gameplay. Might not have been the first one, but it was definitely one of the ones that popularised it, especially for, especially for this particular platform. I also picked up Beyond Castle Wolfenstein. Also, oh no, this one's for the Commodore 64. Interesting, I thought this was for the Atari. Never mind, Commodore 64. Yep, that's an entirely separate one. But whatever, they had both of them. I wasn't going to... I bought these off of retrogames.co.uk, who are really good. They're very good. They're very solid. They've been around for about 25 years. And they had these up. And I was like, it's 50 quid for both. Fuck it. Because, yeah. Unfortunately, I guess Muse didn't make another... They didn't make another Wolfenstein game going forward. Silas Warner ended up selling the rights, or it might have been his wife. I can't remember exactly. But, yeah. Unfortunately, I think he passed away after Wolfenstein 3D came out, and we'll get to that. But, yeah, I think his widow sold the rights to id, who then went on to make, well, two more Wolfenstein games. Well, no, one more Wolfenstein game. But anyway, Wolfenstein 3D for the Atari Jaguar. Now, why this version? Number one, it's the first version of this game I've ever owned. And you know what? It plays crazy well. I think Blazkowicz was the main character in this one. But he was very prominent in this as the legendary William J. B.J. Blazkowicz. Unfortunate name. You've been commissioned to rewrite history in a 64-bit war zone filled with enough fascist German scum to keep you trigger happy for weeks. Yeah, I mean, you're fighting these prats in a... well, with no shirt on, apparently, according to the thing. And then you fight Frankenstein's monster with 4 arms as well, with a Gatling gun in his chest. Sure. Not a bad game. I'm going to be honest with you. I got rid of my Atari Jaguar a couple of years ago. I've very recently picked up another one. Because I wanted to play this again. I did. I wanted to play Wolfenstein 3D. And you know what? I know it works. The guy was very nice enough to just record basically all the games working, and this game, it had like 3. I think it's even got, yeah, it's got the manual. This is complete. Not in the best condition, but it is complete. It's even in the dumb little sleeve, which is cool. But yeah, I was a huge fan of Wolfenstein 3D when I first had my Jaguar, and I'm going to be honest with you, it was kind of one of the driving forces for me getting it again. The other one was simply Tempest 2000, but we'll get back to that another time when I do my Jaguar video, which will probably be in a few months when I bought some games. But yeah, Wolfenstein 3D kind of... It wasn't my intro to the series. We'll get to that. That's a little bit down the line. But it really was one of the things that made me go, hi, this still plays very well. It's a game I played maybe in short bursts, maybe a level or two here and there, and that's really what it's built around. Nowadays, I think in terms of age, it hasn't aged particularly well. That being said, it's still fun. It's still very fluid. It plays exceptionally well, even on the Jaguar's weird-ass janky controller. Weird thing of that controller, though, surprisingly comfy. Oh, it's not complete. It doesn't have the bloody thing. Save feature lets you save your progress after each level. Thanks, Atari. Content description. Graphic violence. Anyway. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Wolfenstein 3D. I've long been a lover of that game. At least for the last 6 years. 6 years I've been playing it. Bit nuts. Moving on, however, to a game I controversially don't like as much. So, I think this was the first Wolfenstein game after Spear of Destiny, which was Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Now, I think it didn't develop this. No, it was Grey Matter. So Grey Matter developed this, and then Nerve Software went on to port it to the original Xbox, and unfortunately it was published by Activision, who I fucking hate. Now all labelled under the Xbox brand, until they change the Xbox brand. What do I think of this game? It's fine. It's fine. I know people rant and rave about Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and with good reason. It is an extremely solid shooter. That being said, it's not one I've really given a lot of time to. I had to pick this up again, because I've either lost my original copy, or I've sold it. Like, I just didn't care. I was like, whatever. This was about £6, so whatever. Not really complaining. You're still BJ. I think the later sort of Wolfenstein games do actually sort of follow the continuity of this a little bit. We'll get to that later. You're teamed up with a woman called Catherine, I think. There's also a character called Agent 1. So this had local co-op. I'm not sure if... Yeah. So this had online play. I don't know if the PS2 version did, but I definitely know that the PC version did as well, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, very solid shooter, I'm sure, but not my real cup of tea. Don't know too much about it. I know there's some differences between the PS1 and the PS2, but here it is again. But however, what I'm actually talking about is Enemy Territory Wolfenstein, or Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. So if you know anything about Enemy Territory, it was a mod, I think, originally, and then it was slowly absorbed, or became canon, or it wasn't a mod and I'm just talking out my ass, but eventually it bought out the rights to Enemy Territory and they made Enemy Territory Quake Wars, or they had it made for them by Splash Damage. Solid game. I don't know if Splash Damage had a hand in... Oh no. Enemy Territory developed by Splash Damage. So yeah, Splash Damage made Enemy Territory Wolfenstein. Class-based multiplayer. Borderline unplayable nowadays. Unless you have... I don't know if there's a Steam version. I don't really know. Can't really play this version anymore. Have to download mods to get bots. I'll probably get round to it, but I'm going to be honest with you, that's probably the Wolfenstein game I have the least to say about, because I haven't actually played it. Here's my intro to Wolfenstein. 2009. Yeah. I bought this back in 2009. And I hated it. I thought it was shit. I thought it was absolutely hot, steaming garbage. It was really not my game. Then... Then a particular virus swept over the world that meant that we all had to stay inside with our games we had been buying sporadically over the years after playing this version again, or for the first time. And I picked up Wolfenstein again, or 2009. I picked up 2009 again, and I played through it, and I went, "This is my favourite game of the franchise." Not kidding. This game's a lot of fun. There's some really fucking annoying bits. One of the bosses, when you go into the actual castle of Wolfenstein, is terrible. Awful hot, steaming crap. However, it does have some interesting stuff in here. Namely, you're fighting occult Germans, for the first time. Occult Germans. Which is cool. It really popularized the idea of German zombies with gear. So not to talk about those complete pricks when, YouTube won't allow it. But here we are. You get powers as well. So this was actually developed by Raven. Same year they released Singularity, which then condemned them to the Call of Duty mines for the rest of eternity. And that sucks. It's terrible. Now what was a very talented studio is just Call of Duty mine fodder shit, and it sucks. It's awful. But it's a very solid shooter, plays very well. Distinct lack of a shotgun, but in the place of it, you get one of the best flamethrowers in any game I have ever played. And a Tesla gun, which is also very cool, and a thing that just disintegrates people on contact. And powers. The powers are interesting. So, kind of following in a Bioshock trend, some things had powers around this time, probably inspired by Bioshock. You had Singularity. Singularity gave you time powers. And with this, you get the Veil. So the Veil lets you do 4 things. Number 1, you can see into the Veil, which sort of used for puzzles and detecting weak points and things like that. Useful. Then you get I can't remember what one of the other powers was, and this doesn't have the manual to tell me, so that's helpful. But one of them is increased damage, one of them is a shield, and I legitimately cannot remember for the life of me what the other one was, which is helpful and great. I think it might increase your speed or perception time or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, they're okay. You kind of have to level them up all the way for them to actually be of any good, but that's where this game's New Game Plus mode. This game's New Game Plus mode, unlike Singularity, which doesn't fucking have one, makes it infinitely more replayable than basically any other Wolfenstein game I've played. And I've played a good number of them. There's maybe one on this list that I haven't played yet, and I've been meaning to. It's just I've had a lot of other games to play. Moving on. 2014 rolls around, and I'm like, Wolfenstein, whatever. I picked up the Wolfenstein New Order Occupied Edition, which had 3 postcards, one of which I gave to a friend of mine, who probably isn't watching this, but if you are... it was a bunch of them walking across Abbey Road. There's one with them on the moon, and there's one with them kissing in Paris, in that, that famous photo in New York, sailor kissing a lady, potentially unconsensually. But, maybe that's a bit of historical backwashing. Who knows? Who cares? This game's really solid. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the best written, best playing first-person shooters I've played of this particular generation. So I did end up picking it up on the PS4 down the line, and it's still very good. It's a very solid shooter. I think my only gripe with it is it's really something you can only really play once. There's no New Game Plus. There's no real upgrades or anything. It's not exactly designed to be replayed. I ended up getting rid of that copy originally, just to replace it with this, and then I bought this exact same copy back from the CX I traded it into, because why not? New Order's fine. New Order's fine. Doesn't really... or not even fine. It's great. It's just... once I played it, I haven't played it again. Unlike Wolfenstein 2009, which I just keep going back to all the time. And 3D, I keep going back to all the time, because in a lot of ways, their shooting is more, I don't know, simple. It's less weighty or floaty, or like, you can do stealth in this, but why the fuck would you... You don't play a Wolfenstein game to play stealth unless you're going back... Admittedly, a nice homage to the original 2, but otherwise not really what I'd go into. That being said, Machine Games released some DLC. And that DLC is The Old Blood, Part 1, Rudy Jaeger and the Den of Wolves, and then Part 2, The Dark Secrets of Helga von Schabs. This is basically sort of, in a weird kind of way, a retelling of Return to Castle Wolfenstein and 2009. So Part 1, you're sneaking into... you basically breaking into Castle Wolfenstein to do something. And then in the second one, you are breaking into Castle Wolfberg. To basically stop a lady from resurrecting a bunch of zombies. Which is great. Solid DLC. Very solid bits of DLC. A lot of fun. Kind of a prequel to Wolfenstein: The New Order. I'm really hoping Machine Games get to make that third game where you fight Mecha Schmittler. Again, that'd be great. Admittedly, in the next game, they make the guy an incontinent, psychopathic idiot on the moon who's making a movie. On Venus, where he's making a movie and you 100% have the option to shoot him in the head. This game got weird. Like, you get decapitated, you get your head stuck on a schmaltzy super soldier. You get sort of powers. I think there's a couple of things you can do. I'm not entirely sure what they are. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, you can create, you get like certain upgrades. I think it's like 3 separate upgrades. One increases your, you can do like a charge and increases your durability. One basically extends your legs, and the other one like basically compresses your body so you can get through tight spaces. Fucking weird. 2 of them are useless, and one of them is just a general damage and health buff, so... What one do you think I would take if I got around to playing this? I just haven't played Wolfenstein: The New Colossus yet, which is terrible. It's just basically retaking America from a character from the first game called... Ooh, you know what? I don't actually know. I can't remember her name. You kill her weird, young, hot German lover in the first game, and she just kind of hates you for it. After you've crushed her face with a mech. You then end the game by whacking her head open with a machete. So, yeah, I've watched the playthrough. It looks good. It looks cool. It's just the right level of batshit insane that makes Wolfenstein so enjoyable. Then we get to the game that has potentially killed the series. So yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood. Now, you've got Machine Games, who are a very good developer of games, if the Golden Circle is anything to go by, or the Great Circle, or whatever the fuck it's called, that new Indiana Jones thing. You've got Arcane, who have some of the best level design in video games. Combine the two, you get a really bad first-person shooter. Like, horrible. Unplayable, even. Unplayable, to the point where half of the enemies, if you're playing single-player mode, you can't fucking kill them. You can't kill them. You can't kill them. And this was admittedly... When did this game come out? 2019? 2019. So this game came out 5 years ago. They've probably fixed it by now. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. I haven't gone back to play it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should go back and play Wolfenstein Youngblood. So you want me? Anyway, but yeah, it takes up 40 gig on my PS5, so I'm not going to bother. I might bother. We'll see. I didn't like that. I didn't like that game. At all. It's about the only Wolfenstein game where I would go, bad. A bad game. Cyberpilot, on the other hand, aggressively mediocre. it's not a very good virtual reality game. I've played it a little bit back when I actually had a PSVR. The only reason I've still got this is because it's a fucking Wolfenstein game. But yeah, unfortunately, those two were a bit of a wet fart to end on, to end the series on, and that sucks because you had such a strong start with New Order, then you had two very good DLC, and you had an even stronger start with Wolfenstein, not start, but middle bit with Wolfenstein 2, and then Youngblood comes out, and it sucks. And then Cyberpilot comes out, and it's aggressively mediocre. It sucks, because now it seems they're on a hiatus, and they have been since 2019. So 5 fucking years, and in that time it's like, ooh, you're going to make instead of making a new Wolfenstein game like you should be, we're instead going to be insisting you work on Indiana Jones. Yay, licensed games. No thank you. Won't be playing that. Just won't. Not a huge Indiana Jones fan anyway, even though that is also probably a game about shooting schmatzis in the face, which is great. But anyway, that's Wolfenstein. A series I really like, series I love in a lot of ways. Really been building up to this video for like a year. I've just been gathering all of the games. Finding these two in particular was a fucking pain in the ass. But yeah, and getting Wolfenstein 3D again, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein recently was kind of the impetus for me doing this. But yeah, it's a series I recommend all but 2 of the games for. I can't really say about Wolfenstein 2, but here we are. That'll be on my that's on my list of games to play next year. Maybe I'll get back into the machine games ones. We'll see. Anyways, guys, that is me signing off for another week. Merry Christmas if you're watching this the day of Christmas Eve, and if not, Merry Christmas in general going forward. Anyway, you should be seeing another video from me on Saturday. Or this coming Saturday from the point of watching this. That would be my Christmas special. It's just basically me talking about what I got for Christmas, because there is a very particular theme, and you will see it on Saturday, because it's going to be cool. And then I will do one the following Tuesday, like I typically do, and that will be kind of a little thing about New Year's gaming, like what do you play? What's your first game of the year and your last game of the year? Because for me, it's one in particular, and I'm sure you know what it is, but we'll get to that. Anyways, guys, that is me signing off, and I will see you next time.